To begin with, what would you consider NSDC's achievements in 2013-14 and what's the plan for 2014 in terms of skill development?
At the beginning of 2013-14, we at NSDC had set ourselves multiple goals. The first set of goals in terms of the calendar year were getting the Indian team to go to Leipzig and win 3 medals of excellence. So we took a 26-member team to the World Skills competition in Leipzig, and 3 of the Indian participants actually won medallions of excellence in Sarthak Jain in IT services, Bhavesh Jaina in gems and jewelry, and Arun Raj in graphics design. The second goal that we set for ourselves was that during the course of the year, we should approve 60 projects, new projects by the NSDC board. And as of the board meeting in March, last board meeting, NSDC had approved 61 projects going forward. The third goal was we needed to look at setting up additional 12 sector skill councils. And we took 12 sector skill councils. We actually took 13 sector skill councils to the board. In terms of numbers, we had 3 different target numbers. The first was overall NSDC, to get the NSDC partners to skill 1 million people between 1st of April 2013 to 31st of April 2014.
Okay.
Our understanding is that the partners have skilled over 1.9 million people, or 1.09 million people so far. We also launched the STAR program, which is a National Skills Certification and Monetary Reward Scheme, in on August 16, 2013. And the idea was to get 16 sector skill councils to create over 200 job roles and get at least 300,000 people enrolled under the STAR scheme by 31st of March. We have actually exceeded that number, looking at 16 sector skill councils, 200 plus job roles, and close to 380,000 people enrolled as of 31st of March, actually today. Right? The fourth aspect that we are looking at was we run the UDAN program, which is for the students of J&K, where the target was to offer jobs to 6,000 people this year in J&K and get them to join training programs and join jobs there. While the industry offered close to 7,300 plus jobs, only 4,350 people joined. So depending on how you look at it, whether we needed to get the jobs offered and select the people, which we did that, but the number of people joined, which was 4,350, but it is a 5x of last year. So if you want to look in terms of the benchmarks or the numbers that we set for ourselves, in terms of the number of proposals, the number of sector skill councils, the number of people trained under NSDC, the number of job roles and sectors and people enrolled under STAR, and the number of UDAN and the world skills numbers were one aspect. In the research and advocacy space, we had a target, one, to do skill gap studies for all the 28 states and the union territories in India. We have completed all, other than Bihar and Chhattisgarh, which have not yet been approved by the state governments. All have been approved by the state governments on their website. Under the advocacy plan, we had proposed to launch a TV commercial and skills reality show. We developed 2 TV commercials, one for retail and one for automotive, which we aired. We set up a call center. The response of the TV commercials was phenomenal, 5x the time to the capacity of the call center. So we have to actually upgrade the call center to take it forward. The TV skill show in Doordarshan had a rating of 1.1, and I know this is a foreign audience, but one of the major programs anchored by a leading actor, director, Amir Khan, which is Satyamay Jayate, had a rating of 1.2 at the same slot. So the rating which Hunarbaz got is pretty good. So it's been a challenging year. The partners and the sector skill councils and the whole ecosystem that is associated with NSDC have responded to my colleagues' working and requests, and we've been able to achieve or exceed our targets. Going forward, we hope to complete 1 million under the STAR scheme by September this year. We will like to triple our numbers under the NSDC program the next year, and we would like to do at least 12,000 people under UDAN. Complete the sector skill studies, introduce 2 or 3 more new TVCs in manufacturing and in the area of the unorganized sector. And in terms of the sector councils, we would like all the 29 sector councils to become active by the end of next year, and at least 80% of the entry-level job roles should have a standard. So that's the way we see the year going forward, and we believe that these targets could be achieved and will be achieved if all the people in the ecosystem work together and focus on execution.
Okay. And what role, what kind of assessment do you see for this sector councils? Any specific issues if you have faced?
See that there are two challenges in the ecosystem, right? The first challenge is that the youth don't see a vocation or a skill as a career opportunity. They see it as a job opportunity, as a stepping stone to a career. At the other end of the spectrum, the employers in industry are not yet looking at certified employees and willing to recognize people who are skilled and trained by giving them additional wages or a fast route confirmation process. So the sector councils will have to actually work together to work within the ecosystem to address these two issues. So in 1982-83, nobody wanted to join the IT industry because the IT industry was a new industry, right? Today, a person would not be willing to, let's say, join the retail sector, but would be willing to work as a BPO person, even work at night, right? And everybody is queuing up to join the IT sector. So it was the industry that got together in 1982, and you had the emergence of companies such as NIIT and Aptech and JetKing and the others that are there, which enabled this transformation to happen. So we see that the sector skill councils, right, will be able to come together, work with us in the advocacy plans to actually make the sector attractive to individuals and help us actually reach out to different parts of society to draw people into the sector and show them career paths. The second is that since in the setting of standards is the responsibility of the sector councils, the challenge here is that if industry gets together and sets a standard, then they should be able to get a process in place and follow the process laid down by NSDC to get the standards accepted by a majority of employers, if not all the employers in that sector. And they should be flexible enough to make quick adjustments in that if they get any responses going forward. Also, the assessment process that they put in place should ensure that anybody who has a certificate, right, given by the sector council is employable. There is a debate whether the sector councils should ensure that the person gets a job, or they give a certificate to only those people who they'll employ. But that's a different issue, because challenge is that the economy is growing at 5.5%, and if suddenly we accelerate growth, right, and if today we restrict the number of people who are certified to only those that we require, in a fast acceleration of the job market, we might find a shortage of people. So this is a debate that we are having and trying to actually address that. And also then the onus of who's responsible for placement whether it is a training partner who within the NSDC system or within the government programs agrees to place 70% of the students versus shifting that onus onto the Sector Skills Council and saying, look, I've not been able to place because the Sector Skill Council has not been able to place, but the government should give me the entire money which is due to me. So those are the types of debates that we are having. But going forward, we will be completing redoing the 23 sector reports. We expect that the sector councils would play a great role in that and be able to put out in the public domain what are the career growth opportunities in that sector, what are the possible employment numbers till 2017 and then till 2017 till 2022.
Okay, and which sectors you are targeting?
See, we have been given 20 high growth sectors, right? So the top 5, if I look at the sectors, they are banking and financial services, retail, automotive, construction, healthcare, right? Then there's IT, ITES, there's gems and jewelry, textiles, leather, right? So if you look at electronics, right? And if you look at them, these are the 20 high growth sectors that we have: chemicals, chemicals, furnitures and fittings, pharmaceuticals and life sciences, etc. So these are the different sectors that we have. We also have the informal sector like beauty and wellness. We have security and different other sectors like that.
Okay, and any particular regional centers?
So, if you look at each industry has a different growth pattern and a clustering pattern. So, the automotive industry has 5 clusters: Delhi, Noida, Gurgaon, Bangalore, Chennai, Pune, Gujarat, things like that. So, the 5 sectors. The IT sectors are predominantly Bangalore, Delhi, Pune, Mumbai, Hyderabad, right? The chemicals is totally different, capital goods is different. So leather is again only 5 centers, Chennai, Kanpur, Calcutta, Agra, things like that. So depending on the industry, the sector and the location varies. But the NSDC partners are present in close to 2,800 mobile plus fixed centers in around 349 districts of India.
Okay. And though there are lots of initiatives have been taken, but what is the solution for the skill gaps, for this lack of national occupational standards for the job seekers?
No, the challenge here is that we need to be able to identify the competency standards for the job roles in at least the 20 high growth sectors or the high employment sectors, plus the high employment sectors and the strategic sectors. Right? A strategic sector could be cybersecurity. A strategic sector could be aviation. A strategic sector could be railways. Right? So depending on where we are, the high employment sectors could be beauty and wellness, telecom. The high growth sectors are the automotive, construction, textiles, gems and jewelry. So 80% of the entry level jobs, we need to define the occupation standards by 2013, by March 31st, 2015. And I'm fairly confident that it will be done. Right? But given the promulgation of the NSQC and the NSQF on the 27th of December last year, how it fits into the national standard, whether these remain standards for the NSDC partners or become national standards, is something which we need to see actually going forward.
Okay, finally, I would like to ask you, is there enough autonomy or capacity in the education or training sector to adjust skill development programs to support infrastructure development, and how do you see this entire situation when compared to OECD countries?
I think there are 3 different questions in that one question, so let me answer it in 3 different parts. The first, you talked about, is the skill development system flexible enough to adapt to the needs of the economy, and is it structured in a way that could be adapted? I would not like to talk about the entire skill development system, but what I like to say is if I take the NSDC program, and the way we have structured the Sector Skill Council interface with the NSDC program, it is designed for quick response to changing situations. The second part of your question relates to the infrastructure sector, and given if India is going to spend anywhere between 500 billion to $1 trillion in the infrastructure sector in the 12th five-year plan, are we geared to provide skills for that sector? I think what we did in 3 years ago was actually do a skill gap report in the infrastructure sector, which clearly brought out the skills of the 103 million people that are going to be employed in that sector, subject to the investment being done in the infrastructure sector, and we have a plan to address that skill gap. But if you look at the rollout of the infrastructure projects in relation to what was promised, the road building is slowed, power is being impacted because the coal has been impacted, because something else has been impacted, the gas issue has been impacted. So at the moment, the infrastructure is not growing at the pace that we would all like to see it grow going forward. But we believe that these are transient issues. If you take telecom as infrastructure, is growing fast, but we believe that once these issues have been sorted out, infrastructure would grow, and we have a plan in place for meeting the demand of people there. The third part of your question related to OECD countries and India. I think I've actually just shared the India story with OECD in March with their skills team, and we have had access to the study that they have done across countries in OECD. We find that the challenges are similar. The challenges within Europe and within the US and within Canada are very, very similar, and they're also facing skill gaps. They're also trying to address the engagement of employers to address the skill gaps. They're also looking at integrating vocational education into the school and higher education challenge system. So some of the things that we're trying to do in India vis-a-vis what is being done in the OECD countries is very similar, but the scale differs, because if you look at Singapore as an OECD country and look at India, the scale is 1:1,000, you know, or more than that, 1:1,000,000 or something like that, right? And if you see the spread or challenge like in Canada, which has some of the best indicators for education and training amongst the OECD countries, we have a long way to go. If you look at Austria and Germany, right, and Switzerland, right, as Europe come OECD countries, then their systems, their youth unemployment rates are much lower than what we are facing here. But if you look at other countries like Italy, Spain, they have high unemployment, youth unemployment rates, challenges in bridging the gap between the employers there. So the OECD comparison is mixed, right? There are systems and processes which a lot of OECD countries have shown in looking at India as the model. There are many systems that India is looking at them as a model, and I believe it is an interactive learning process between the countries in OECD and in India.